Welcome to Attic Continues, episode 146, a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on atticcontinues.com as an MP3, in which we talk about video games and related topics, and it's posted up before that on youtube.com/atticcontinues. It goes up about an hour or so after we do our recording. I am your host, Staffa. This week, I got Adam with me, the community manager.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm alright. How you doing?
All right. This week we are actually recording in my home because I actually got availability to do it here. So it's kind of nice to actually get it set up like the night before.
Yeah.
You know.
And not have to rush to do anything.
Yeah. Just I got everything set up here and just left it overnight, and then this morning I woke up and I'm like, yeah, everything's ready.
I've already done all the work.
Exactly. Just you got here, and then we did our test recordings, and we started.
That's right.
We didn't have to hook anything up, so that was pretty nice for once.
Yeah.
For once, only once. Not gonna happen again for a while. But anyways, this episode segments will include what have we been playing, or at least what has Adam been playing. And then we're going to skip me on that part. We're going to do some quick announcements. We're not going to have a main topic this episode because we got a lot of news this episode. And then after I close out the episode, this episode, we're going to have a Walking Dead Season 2 spoiler discussion. Just so, for anyone who has not finished Season 2, and does not want to get anything spoiled, we're gonna cut off the show at the end. And if you have played through all of Walking Dead Season 2, you're caught up, and you want to listen to the discussion, then you could continue listening, and that way we don't have we have kind of like a wall for the spoilers,
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much this episode. Also, I'm going to try to keep an eye on if there's going to be any viewers asking questions while recording, because last week I had a viewer asking questions during the recording and I did not realize that. So I apologize. I was not ignoring your questions. It's just I didn't realize there was any questions being asked to begin with. So, hey,
Awful.
I don't pay attention to the viewers because the fact that
so you don't pay attention to the viewers.
I don't expect there to be viewers. My
Awful.
expectations are too low. Hey, if there's viewers, then that's a bonus. So I'm like, whoa, that's amazing.
Exactly why you shouldn't ignore them when they are viewers.
Hey, you should probably not get that close to the mic. You're getting pretty loud. But anyways, what have you been playing, Adam? This is all you. What have you been playing? Walking Dead Season 2.
I've been playing Walking Dead Season 2.
Okay, then we're gonna skip that segment then. I should have probably looked at that before I asked you. My bad. Alright, we're gonna skip that segment. Let's talk about DreamHost real quick. DreamHost, do you know what they are?
I know what they are. I do not use them because I do not have a website.
Oh, that's unfortunate, because if you wanted to start a website, you should check out DreamHost, because they're a web service. They offer unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, user-friendly interface, and they're also optimized to use content managers such as WordPress and Content5, and many more features. All that just for $8.95 US a month. If you use the promo code OUTOFCONTINUES, that is one word, no spaces in between, it will waive the setup fee and get you a free domain registration. So check that out. DreamHost.com. So some quick announcements. iTunes, we can use some iTunes reviews. It kind of feels wrong for me to tell people to leave an iTunes review when we haven't really gotten to any discussions yet,
Yeah, maybe you should put that just at the end of the show.
But I don't know. I mentioned it already, so I might as well finish off the thoughts. We can use iTunes reviews. If you can leave an iTunes review. It's one of the single most helpful things you could do for the show. If you cannot leave an iTunes review because of whatever reason, you already left a review or you don't have an iTunes account, share the podcast on Facebook or Twitter. It would really help out the show. And another announcement, I mentioned it last week, but I'm going to mention it again. In fact, I'm going to screen share. Let me get this on the screen. Oh, why is the page not even loading anymore? Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right, so let me screen share now. Screen share now. Why is our faces frozen?
I don't know, but we're frozen.
Holy moly.
Oh, there it is. It's working now.
Okay, now it's working. All right, screen share now. Let me make that a little bigger. All right, so I got a Portal 2 level. It's called Glass Walls. You can get to this level through the Steam Workshop by searching for Glass Walls, or you go to the show notes on outofconfuse.com. I will leave a link in the show notes, and you could get to it there. All you gotta do is have Portal 2 installed on your PC. Click on this subscribe button right there, this green button. It says subscribe, and then it will download the level for you, and that's pretty much it.
And for the listeners, that's Walls.
Walls with a Z. Like Dragon Walls Z. What's wrong?
No, stop it.
No?
No.
Maybe I should call my next level Dragon Wall Z.
No.
No?
No.
No? Okay.
Just no.
But, check out the level. Give me a thumbs up after you play it, because it's an amazing level. And once I have, whatever my next project I'm working on that I finish, I'll definitely let you guys know when that is up and ready. So there we go with that. Let me turn off screen share so you can see us again. There we go. Bam. Other than that, let me go back to my notes. Okay. I mentioned this, I think I mentioned it last week, that me and a friend of mine, Eric, who has been on the show a couple times, he didn't talk much, and he kept on talking about how I called him the Viking.
He didn't talk much, but
Yeah.
he talked more than James, though.
Yeah, he definitely talked more than James.
Yeah.
But
Mutes talk more than James.
he wants. We've been talking about starting a superhero podcast, mainly for the show Arrow. That's season 3 will be starting in October, and the Flash series is also going to be starting. So we're thinking of doing a weekly podcast on those two shows. Flash is going to air on Tuesday nights, and Arrow's going to be Wednesday nights. So we'll record, I don't know, like on Thursday or Friday, something like that.
Have you seen the trailers for Gotham?
No, I have not.
You should. It looks like it might be promising.
Yeah, I might check out Gotham as well. Like the thing is, I don't watch TV on TV. I watch it online, and both Arrow and The Flash are going to be on CW's website.
Gotham is Fox.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I don't know if it's going to be online or not.
Oh,
So, if it will be online, that'll definitely make things easier, and maybe I might maybe I might include that on the podcast as well. So it all depends on the accessibility of the show. But right now we're definitely thinking of talking about Arrow and the Flash. We haven't come up with all the details yet as far as how that podcast will go. We'll probably do like individual episodes for each show that we talk about, rather than, hey, this is a weekly, one episode as we talk about every show this
Right.
week. I don't think that would be practical. So
Probably not.
yeah, so it's gonna be like, superhero podcast, Arrow season 3 episode 1. That's how the titles of the podcast will go.
Right.
So that's what we're thinking of so far. We have not come up with a name of the podcast yet. We're still discussing that. And I don't think I'll get a domain for it yet. Right now, I'm just thinking of making a subdomain of Outer Continues,
Right.
rather than purchasing the domain right off and going full gear with it. And it'll probably, I'm definitely not going to invest as much time in that podcast as I will with this podcast. I'm going to just straight up record in my bedroom on Google Hangout with Eric. Because Eric doesn't even live here anymore. He lives in North Carolina now, so we're just going to be doing online together.
That's Flare country, by the way.
Is it?
Woo!
So, basically, what I'm saying is I'm going to devote less time on, setting up. I don't have to, get people together in a place together and set up everything, all the equipment, all that. We're just going to get online, talk, record,
right.
Publish it. So we're going to see how that goes. If I get a lot of viewers with that, I might expand on it. If I get no viewers on at all, might go nowhere. So we'll see how that goes. So that's it as far as announcements. Let's get to the news, because that's going to be our main segment of this episode, since we have a lot of news. A lot of stuff happened this past week, and I'm just going through my RSS feed, looking at all the different types of news, and there's just too much to put it all in. So I pretty much cherry-picked what we're gonna talk about. Man, why is this stuff taking so long to load? Okay, here we go. Let's start talking about Kotaku and Polygon. Let me screen share this. So last week we talked about corrupt journalism and the gaming industry, the gaming journalism industry, and with conflict of interest between the journalists and the game developers. Kotaku has put up a response to that, and basically they are revising their policies, and they're basically saying that their journalists are no longer allowed to pretty much sponsor or fund game developers. Because one thing that I learned after last week's recording is that another Kotaku writer was pretty much funding Zoe Quinn through her Patreon account or something like that. Pretty much, he was giving money to her monthly on her PayPal. And there have been people online, on the Zoe Quinn side, on the defense, saying, hey, this is no different than buying a $60 game at the store. And there's nothing wrong with funding a developer this way. In fact, Polygon, they issued a statement, similar to Kotaku, but unlike Kotaku, who said, their writers aren't allowed to do that. Polygon saying, hey, we don't think this is wrong. Our writers can do it if they want to. It's just they have to mention it if they write about, those developers or their games. So that's the difference between Polygon and Kotaku. What do you think, Adam? Because we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that you don't think there's anything wrong with funding a developer.
I don't, as long as they come out and publicly state that they do. If they, do it behind your back and they don't say, it's like me giving the chair money over there and not telling you about it. Then the chair coming to you and be like, "Hey, I'm broke. I need fixed." And in the back pocket it has like a couple hundred. Yeah.
See, I first of all, that is just a ridiculous. It's a good thing that the camera is no longer on us. But other than that being a ridiculous analogy or whatever the heck you want to call that, I don't think it is okay to fund a developer like as far as journalists go, because when you are funding, the difference between purchasing a $60 game at the store and sending money directly to a developer, via PayPal each month, you are like, I think it's more comparable to Kickstarter, in which Kickstarter, a lot of people will mistake Kickstarter for pre-ordering a game. It is not that. When you pay, when you give money to a Kickstarter, you are funding the project. You are a investor in the project. You are trying to make the project happen. Okay, you're not buying the product. You are putting money towards making the product happen. Does that make sense?
No, I'm talking about the Kickstarter. The Patreon thing I find kind of shady.
Mm-hmm.
But the Kickstarter is what I'm talking about. If you see something on Kickstarter and you really like the concept, what's wrong with I like I told you before, if I'm gonna give a developer, $20 and the game comes out to be crap, I'm gonna be just as mad as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I own the company, you know.
Yeah, but I think there is I think the difference is that when it comes down to journalists, if they, let's say, they fund a project, they help kickstart a project, and then they write about that project as well. I feel like that's a conflict of interest, because it's like if they're funding the project, then they are pretty much investors in the project. And then once they start writing about it, they are promoting the project that they are funding. And I feel like that's a conflict of interest. When a writer writes about a certain game, they should be objective about it, and they cannot write an objective preview for a game if they are invested in it. That's how I see it.
Like I said, I think if they do it, I mean, is it like the ideal situation?
Okay? An agency is basically their job is to like be part of the production of a game, before it comes out, and they play through the game and pretty much like they write reviews for the developer
Mm.
before the game comes out, letting them know, hey, this is what reviewers are going to say about your game. They and try to make the game better that way. Okay.
Right.
So she writes for Gama Sutra. Writes like a monthly column, and she's one of the top writers there. She writes for other sites too, like Kotaku every once in a while. She has like a gazillion Twitter followers, and so recently she posted on her Twitter, hey, check out this game. I can't remember what it's called, Moonriders or whatever, on Kickstarter. My company agency is part of helping this game out in production. So she is like on her personal Twitter, she is promoting a game that she is part of the production for, and she's also a games journalist.
Yeah, that's screwy.
Like, it's you can't be part of the production of a game and also like promote a game and be a journalist, but
there's definitely
there's
a conflict of interest.
There's also like when it's more convenient, these journalists like they want to call themselves journalists, but then when they do stuff like this, like, oh, we're just bloggers.
They see that paper.
They want to go with whatever title when it's whichever's more convenient for them.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you? Does games journalism even exist? Are you guys all just bloggers, or what?
When the time is right, yes.
Like me, I am not a games journalist. I mean, I got this podcast, but this is just me spouting out my opinion.
You're not reporting news.
Yeah, I'm not reporting news. I'm just I'm just sharing my opinion, and just having a discussion each week.
Right.
This is me. I'm being real. I am not getting paid.
Nope.
Definitely not getting paid to do this. I'm just sharing my opinion. So there's a huge difference between what I do and what like Kotaku does. Okay. But
you get your news from Kotaku.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I'm showing on my screen right now. There's Polygon. There is Kotaku right there. So I mean, I'm just sharing my opinion. So I do not claim to be a journalist, but these journalists, they like to go with whatever title.
No, we.
Okay, hopefully that did not mess up on the YouTube, because it just said the video call ended. Now it says we're back.
Okay, we're back.
Okay. So do you have anything else to add on that?
No, I mean, like I said, it's not the ideal situation, but I don't have a problem with them doing the Kickstarter thing, the uh, Patreon or whatever.
Yeah,
That
Patreon is basically paying. I mean, like Patreon, like it's basically for people who don't know what Patreon is. It's basically a way for content creators to make money. Basically like make a tip jar. Well, I don't know. It's not really a tip jar. Isn't really explain it well enough because there are level. I mean tiers as far as how much you want to get, how much you want to fund this person, and then you get rewards back. So it's kind of like a combination between Kickstarter and a tip jar. So, I mean, unlike Kickstarter, which is like, help us make this project happen, Patreon's more like, okay, we're making this project, and as we keep making content, you give us money to help us improve the content. Does that make sense? So it's mainly for, I mean, like a lot of people who like make either podcasts or YouTube channels or uh, like deviant art, drawing pictures, um, stuff like that. Though that it's a way for those people to make money and continue to make their projects. As far as games go, it's really weird
yeah,
to do that with games because of the fact that you don't produce content on a regular basis with games. A game is like you release it when it's done.
right.
It's not like a podcast where you can do every week, or a YouTube channel where you're constantly making videos each week or each day or whatever. So I don't know. Like, I mean, as far as like Zoe Quinn having a Patreon account, it just comes across to me as she doesn't want to like make a real game
Or work.
or work, get a real job and work. That's how it comes across to me because like I took a look at Depression Quest, and I looked up how she made it. She used a program called Twine, which surprised me because like at first I was like, what, did she make this game with HTML? And it ends up she used something even lazier than HTML. She pretty much used a program that makes choose your own adventure stories. So it's like, okay, so this game developer, I'm doing the air quotes, and I guess we're back on camera again. I don't know. Are we losing the feed constantly or something? I'm not
I
sure.
don't know.
I don't know. But this game developer is using this practically a fill in the blank program to create her game, her interactive story, and she, is practically living off of people, paying her PayPal account, and it just comes across to me as she doesn't want to work on a real game or work a real job and make her living that way. What do you think? I mean, like, am I like?
No, I think you're dead on. Like,
I mean, I'm pretty sure some people will be like, oh, you're just attacking her
sexist.
because you're sexist. It's like, no, like that has nothing to do with it.
Well,
Like,
see, that's this their stickman defense.
yeah.
That's the first thing that they throw up. Oh, you're sexist. No, I'm not.
I mean, like I talked about how Yog's venture, was completely shady, and those are guys, so that has nothing to do with their gender.
Right.
But like as far as like Zoe Quinn goes, it's like she, I have not seen a real game from her. Like, why are people funding her to, continue making what other people do for free? Because I looked at the Twine website and it showed examples of other interactive choose your own adventure
Probably
stories.
better ones too.
So apparently there's a ton of those online for free, and she thinks that she can make a living off of hers just because it's tied to depression.
And on that subject, the whole the best ending on the game, it's stupid. You have to be on meds. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the rapper.
Luda. So why does this keep turning off the screen share? I'm assuming that we're constantly losing connection with the Google Hangout. So if this video ends up cutting off a lot on YouTube, please check out the MP3. So I apologize for any of the technical difficulties. All right, so back to the stories. Let's talk about Blizzard. If this thing wants to load.
Nope.
Okay, so a group of hackers, they claim responsibility. Well, we'll not just talk about Blizzard, but we'll talk about PlayStation Network. And let me whip out my notes. Okay. So pretty much PSN, Blizzard Entertainment servers, League of Legends, Path of Exile, they're all attacked by denial of service hacking attacks. Basically, what these DDoS attacks are is that they flood the servers with too much information, so that it ends up crashing the servers. I mean, that's the basic gist of it. I probably butchered the explanation, but that's pretty much, you get the idea, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this hacking group, I'm not sure if they ever. I mean, they came out and said that we did this, but I don't think they ever gave an explanation as to why they chose those servers or why they even did this, which to me makes no sense at all, because why would you want to? You're basically sending a message, but if your message doesn't come across, then what was the whole point of sending that message? It's a failed message, unless they're just doing this just for the lulz, for the giggles.
Well, they did release a statement on it right here.
Did they explain why?
Just for the raw thrill of anarchy.
The raw thrill of anarchy.
Yeah, they released a statement.
So, I mean, not only did they, I mean, is there anything in that statement you think is worth mentioning? I'll talk about this as you read through that. The hacking group also, they sent a bomb threat for the flight that the Sony Online Entertainment president was on, and he was supposed to be flying to San Diego, and the flight it got diverted to go to Phoenix, Arizona. So they had to land the plane and see if there actually was a bomb on there. So the hacking groups claim that, hey, that was us too. So
it looks like that their bomb threat kind of ended them, because this report's saying that the FBI got on them.
Okay.
And they apprehended some of them. And then the statement goes on to say that they are disbanding. So who knows if it's legit or not, but that's pretty much what the statement says.
Kids, man. People need a hobby. Do something.
Other than hacking?
Yeah. Do something useful. Come on now. Don't live up to the stereotype that you know, geeks have no lives and
Right.
live in their mother's basements.
I mean, especially if that was actually them doing the bomb threat. It said that it tweeted the airlines.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
One thing about tweeting airlines, uh, I know airlines specifically, they check their tweets constantly. Like I remember one story in which a person tweeted at the tweeted with the airlines that they're riding on, um, saying something about the person that was checking their tickets,
Mm-hmm.
and then they took him out of the airplane before they took off. Just to make sure he's not doing anything crazy.
Right.
So, they check.
Yeah, that's.
Airlines is, I mean, don't play around with the airlines. For real, man. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about The Legend of Korra, which is a show that I mentioned last week I watched. And they're coming out with a game. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast previously or not. So the game's coming out. They announced a release date, which is October 21st for PSN and Steam, and October 22nd for the Xbox platforms. No Wii U. Dun dun dun.
Sad face.
Sad face. You're missing out, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm missing out on the whole Wii U experience.
So,
Woohoo.
I mentioned last week. I know you don't watch the show, right? The Legend of Korra. You don't watch it at all.
I don't watch anime.
Yeah. So, I mentioned last week I really liked this season 3. So it kind of made me somewhat optimistic for this game, especially since Platinum Games is working on this game, and what bad game has Platinum Games made? I mean, I didn't really care for Bayonetta. That was too Japanese for me. It was.
Well, hopefully it'll be better than the Last Airbender video game for the 360. Just smash that button. Quick,
Get all your achievements in
like
2
5
minutes.
minutes. If that depends on your button mash speed.
Well, like the difference between this game and those previous games is the Avatar: The Last Airbender games. They're made by a different studio. That was one thing. This is being made by Platinum. And another thing is the creators of the show, they said that they had more involvement with this game than the previous ones. Like they mentioned, like I was watching an interview and they mentioned like the previous games, the developer would be like, hey, we need these assets because we don't know what this character looks like from this angle or something like that. And they're like, well, sorry, we don't. We're a little busy right now. Things like that.
Right.
So apparently they had a lot more involvement. So that makes me optimistic. But on the other hand, this game was announced, I believe, like 2 months ago. Like literally 2 months ago. And
Right.
it's coming out in October. And not only that, but we have what else we got here? Okay, Platinum Games, they're also working on Bayonetta 2, which they've been working on for what, like the past 2 years, I think?
Something like that.
Like, or at least we've heard of it for the past 2 years or so. And they have Scalebound, that new X-Bone game that got announced.
Yeah.
So they have multiple projects happening. I don't know how big Platinum Games is. And like I said, this game was announced like two, if not 2, then 3 months ago. So, how good is this game going to be? Plus, it is a downloadable game with not only a single player mode, but a multiplayer mode as well. because one thing within the um, Avatar Last Airbender universe, we have what they have what they call benders of the four elements, like water, earth, fire, and air, and these people can bend these specific elements. And then in the Legend of Korra, they had this thing called pro bending, where it was like basically a sport that uses these, well, three of the four elements, because airbenders, there's the last one.
Right.
So they only had, the majority of people, there's only three different benders. So they made a sport using those three elements, and it's basically sumo. So they put that game that's within this, the sport that's within this universe, and made a multiplayer mode with this. So I'm kind of iffy on the whole thing that they make, they got this action game single player experience, plus they have this multiplayer experience within, I'm assuming, a $20 or $15 downloadable game. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like where my concerns coming from.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of excited, but kind of I'm not going to buy the game until the reviews come out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wanna.
How is that any different than any other time with you? When's the last time you pre-ordered a game?
I don't know.
Magic 2015?
I did not pre-order that.
Oh, you did. That's right.
I did not.
I did. Yeah.
But yeah. I just want to share my opinion on that. Don't want to talk too much about it, but just want to share that. Yeah. I'm kind of worried that this might be messy. Let's move on.
Speaking of messy,
Capcom is in a messy situation and is looking desperate.
extremely desperate.
They are suing Koei Tecmo for, let me get my notes up here so I don't have to search this article. Okay, so they're seeking $9.43 million. And that's on the infringement of multiple patents. One patent filed by Capcom in the year 2002. It relates to a function that lets you acquire new content by combining an existing game with another piece of software. That sounds very vague and sounds like DLC.
Yeah.
How can you make a patent on DLC? Are they going to sue every game now for having DLC?
Yes.
Because, think about that. A function that allows you to acquire new content by combining an existing game with another piece of software. So, DLC.
Yeah, it sounds like the same crap that's going on with the podcast patent trolls.
Mm-hmm.
With Adam Carolla.
Corolla.
Yeah, Adam Carolla.
Explain that.
He has the biggest podcast, the most popular podcast, according to a lot of people I listen to, and there's something, I can't remember the name of the place, but they're basically doing this, but with podcasts, with numbered episodes to download online of audio. Look it up. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. But other notes I got on here, Capcom names 50 Koei Tecmo titles, one of them being Samurai Warriors Extreme Legends for PS2 and PS3. So I'm assuming the other 49 are other Dynasty Warrior games. That's a joke. Bunch of Dynasty Warrior games. No.
Ugh. No.
So it says Koei Tecmo has Capcom says that Koei Tecmo has profited $93 million through this method of infringements, so they are seeking a licensing fee of 5 to 10%. Well, that's a big range between that percentage. Make up your mind. Is it 5 or is it 10 or is it somewhere in the middle? And so that's how they calculated that 9.43 million. So, I mean, like I said, this comes across as looking desperate for Capcom because Capcom is in financial trouble. They are pretty much up for sale. Didn't James buy them for $20 when he was on here?
But yeah, I think no. Was it Capcom? It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sold it to him.
Yeah.
I gave $20 back, so he doesn't have Capcom anymore.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's what it looks like to me, and like, they're suing for a lot of money, and that patent just sounds very vague, and I don't think they're gonna win. Especially if they're trying to sue for the fact that it is DLC that they made. That's how they made their money.
Right. I mean, that looks like they're just reaching for straws.
Yeah.
They're just like, holy crap, we's in some doo-doo.
Yeah. You want to move on? All right. Let's talk about something a little more positive.
Are you sure?
Maybe.
They might come after them too.
Yeah, because this is DLC also. We're talking about Mario Kart 8. I don't get when people online say MK8.
Mortal Kombat 8?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
there is only one MK.
Yeah,
and it is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, exactly. Like I saw YouTube comments. Oh, my favorite MK game is Mario Kart 64. It's like, well, my favorite MK game is the last Mortal Kombat game that came out. Come on now. There's only one MK.
Right.
But anyways, Mario Kart 8 has DLC now. And
yay.
I'm pretty sure most people who are interested know the details on this. There's going to be 2 packs. One of them, the first one that's coming out this year, will have Link, Catsuit, Peach, Tanuki Suit, Mario, 4 vehicles, 8 tracks. The second one that'll come out next year, Animal Crossing Villager and Isabelle, Dry Bones Bowser, 4 vehicles, 8 tracks. One of those packs is going to include the F-Zero cart. I mean, the Blue Falcon from F-Zero as a cart. And you can either buy them separately for $8 each or together for $12. And I mean, it sounds like a lot of content. It sounds like some cool content.
Plus, if you order both, you get extra colors. 8 new extra colors each for Yoshi and Shy Guy.
Ooh. For the Yoshis, the best character.
I'm just
Yoshi
saying.
So, one thing I find entertaining about this in general is that I believe it was either 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was the episode that I know I had Ali and Kevin on the show, and we were talking about how
they hate everything.
Like they're like Nintendo, like the I don't want to call them fans, like the Nintendo White Knights. Like because I mean you could be a Nintendo fan and be rational, but these other people that are irrational White Knights, they they're like, oh, I'm glad how Nintendo they release complete games and they don't add DLC and they don't release patches because we want the game out of the box. And it's like
cue the Mario death music stuff.
Yep. It's like, here you go, buddy. Nintendo has joined the party. The Mario party.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, because they had no third party.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's sad.
So, I mean, you get what I'm saying. I mean, I find that aspect entertaining. Like, I'm not saying, you know, oh, in your face or anything like that. But I mean, I just find it in general that it's entertaining that
I mean,
people who will defend who will defend every one of Nintendo's bad choices. You
the
know, and they're also the same people who are ecstatic about this news for DLC. Make up your minds. Like, do you not like DLC, or do you love it? Can't
I
have it both
mean,
ways.
with this, at least it looks like it's a decent amount of content.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not overly priced.
Hmm.
Man, Nintendo just makes me sad. Just makes me sad.
I find this interesting that it seems like they are expanding from just Mario and Donkey Kong to everything now.
And Zelda.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're doing everything now because
Right.
it used to be just Mario and Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And now they're adding Link, they're adding F-Zero, which is kind of ironic considering the fact that this game had loop-de-loops. So people were saying that this looked like F-Zero before it came out. Anyways, but I mean they're pretty much going the Smash Bros route at this point. They're like, hey, whatever, let's add everyone in here.
Throw everything against the wall.
Throw everything. Let's go. Sonic and Sega All Stars.
It was a good game.
Yeah, I like that game.
Transformed.
I don't like the flying parts though.
I like how it has online.
Yeah. I mean, like, other than the flying, I think Sonic and Sega All Stars Transformed is an excellent game. You have anything else to add on this? Any other thoughts?
No, other than just Nintendo makes me sad.
What is that?
Just we'll get to it.
Oh, so you're not excited about this? I kind of find well, this is a picture of Link on a motorcycle, but Link on the cart, I don't think this has a picture of him. Does it? Oh, there it is. Here we go. Look at Link on that cart. He looks silly.
Yes, he does.
He looks really silly. Like, he's like, I mean, Link, he's not like a tall character in his universe, but the fact
Mario's
that
short and fat.
yeah, the fact that he's with a bunch of what's the word, like more cartoony characters, and
Right.
these carts and stuff were built or designed for their size. He's like a giant. And
Looks like me if I tried to ride a tricycle.
No, that don't. He has a full head of hair.
Why you gotta be a hater?
'Cause I'm hilarious.
In your own mind.
Let's move on and talk about another Nintendo game that got announced. As this loads, why is the screen always white? Okay, here we go.
Because they don't like you.
So Pokemon meets Tekken as Pokken is officially announced. So we have this game Pokken, which is I believe this is developed by Bandai Namco's Tekken team, and it's using the Pokemon, and it's going to play like Tekken. So this is going to be more of a fighting game than Smash Brothers, because Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. What? They can't see you facepalm.
I know they can't.
They can't see you.
I know. It's not for them. This is for me.
They can't see you facepalm.
This is for me.
So, I mean, one interesting thing, I want to show this real quick, is a Reddit user put this image together and was like, hey, look, here are some Tekken characters and their fighting styles, and some Pokemon with the same fighting styles. and he was like, maybe, this is a possibility of the roster that will show up in the Pokken game, because it should be pretty easy for them to translate, these movesets that already exist into these, pretty much just replacing their character models.
Right.
The only one that I'm kind of like, what the heck, is Martial Law with his martial arts. It's supposed to be Jeet Kune Do. Come on now.
Right.
Come on. It's Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do.
So this is why Tekken Cross Street Fighter is not coming out, right?
Could be.
That
Could be, because
Capcom's
Capcom
going
got
bye-bye.
no money. Capcom got no money. They're like, okay, Nintendo still has money right now.
For now.
For now.
Well,
Let's make a deal with someone who has money at this point.
oh, that's sad. For Capcom. They make me sad too. I know they make you sad.
Oh yeah. Well, like as far as this game goes, it's going right now. It's only announced to come out in Japanese arcades, not consoles. So not the Wii U at this point. Just Japanese arcades. In 2015, I believe, is when it says. I think so.
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. 2015.
You're always right.
I'm always right. I never say anything wrong.
I think we should.
Yeah. In Japanese arcades next year. Just like when I say Smash Bros. Is not a fighting game. I'm totally correct.
I think we should do this one first, and then go to that one.
Okay.
Because that way we can have all the Nintendo stuff next to each other.
Oh, there's another Nintendo.
I know,
one
that's what
after
I'm
that.
saying. Move this.
Oh. Alright. But like, my thoughts on this, I think it's interesting. It sounds interesting. But I don't know. Like, I'm assuming this will eventually come out on the Wii U. It would be
In their best interest.
Yeah, it would definitely be in Nintendo's best interest to get this on the Wii U, because what games do they got?
But at the same time, is a fighting game really what Nintendo people want?
They want Smash Brothers.
That's not a fighting game though.
It's not. I'm saying that they want Smash. They're gonna all buy Smash Brothers, and that will, pretty much scratch their itch of having any type of Nintendo characters hitting each other.
Right. I don't know if Pokemon's the best thing to put on a fighting game, but I think it might be Nintendo's only.
What I'm saying here is Nintendo needs games.
Oh, I know Nintendo.
They need
Nintendo ain't
games.
got no games.
Ain't got no games, and they need it.
Ain't got no games.
They need games, and so it'll definitely be in their best interest to get this on the Wii U, so that the people who own a Wii U can buy a game. I don't think it's going to sell systems, but I do think it will be software that will be sold as far as, hey, these Wii U owners need a game to buy.
Oh, and plus it has the Nintendo. It'd have the Nintendo logo on it, so they'd be all over it.
Yeah, and also, it's Pokemon. Pokemon is like Nintendo's, at least their top 5 most popular franchises.
Probably.
It has to be. I mean, Mario,
I don't know.
Zelda,
It might be number 1 because they
Smash
put out
Brothers,
5 Pokemon on the same universe.
Mario Kart,
area, whatever you want to call it.
and Pokemon. There we go. There's the top 5. Telephone. Telephone. That's not my phone.
Ring, ring, ring.
Ring, ring, ring. Hopefully that's not. I don't think these mics are picking up the telephone ring. So, anyways, you got any other thoughts on this?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on and talk about Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto who is a close friend of the show. We're like BFFs, almost. So he pretty much was bashing the casuals this week. So Miyamoto, he signals desire to focus on hardcore. Here are the quotes that we got. These are the sorts of people who, for example, might want to. Oh, he's talking about like casual players. All right. These are the sort of people who, for example, might want to watch a movie. They might want to go to Disneyland, and their attitude is, okay, I'm a customer. You are supposed to entertain me. It's kind of a passive attitude they're taking, and to me, it's kind of a pathetic thing. They do not know how interesting it is if you move one step further and try to challenge yourself with more advanced games. He goes on saying, in the days of the DS and Wii, Nintendo tried its best to expand the gaming population. Fortunately, because of the spread of smart devices, people take games for granted now. It is a good thing for us because we do not have to worry about making games something that are relevant to general people's daily lives. So, I mean, like from what I understand from that second quote, he's basically saying, with the Wii and the DS, we had to like pretty much make casual games to get more people to play games, and now we don't have to do that anymore because smart devices and tablets have those type of games to do it for us. Do you agree with my interpretation of his quote?
Yeah, but him, crapping all over the casual games, the casual gamers or whatever they want to be called.
Saying that they are pathetic.
It's like, dude, how many Wiis did you sell?
Mm-hmm.
How many Wiis did you sell to old people in retirement homes?
Mm-hmm.
They're not hardcore gamers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he just...
Now here is like one thing that we were talking about on the phone last night. I believe that the definition of hardcore and casual. Why is your mic like bobbing up and down?
I don't
It's like
know.
dancing.
I don't know.
But the definition of hardcore and casual differs between the industry and people who play games, and even within people who play games, the definition of hardcore differs. So, like, okay, as far as the industry goes, hardcore and casual. Casual is defined as mobile and web games. That's pretty much what casual means as far as within the industry, within game developers. So, like, I apply for this studio, and they say we make casual games. That means they make, puzzle games on smartphones.
Right.
That's the definition within the industry. Hardcore would mean more like console games.
Right.
Now within outside the industry, like people who play games. The definition of casual would mean, someone who is not an enthusiast of games. And hardcore can mean someone who is a gaming enthusiast. Hardcore can mean somebody who plays only mature-rated games. Hardcore can mean a bunch of different things.
Dude, I only play Call of Duty. I'm hardcore.
If I play as a squirrel, that's not a game I want to play.
That's just nuts.
I don't want to play as no bear with a bird in his backpack. I don't want to play as no fat little plumber. I don't want to play as a woman. I gotta be a soldier with superpowers and a gun.
Definitely a gun. I like guns.
A gun that shoots guns.
Ooh, a gun that shoots guns.
Gun that shoots guns. That kills guns.
You just blew my mind. Anyway.
So, I mean, I see what you mean, and I agree that he shouldn't be like calling people pathetic for not being more enthusiastic about a product. I mean, like I think it's totally fine to be into certain things and like not be enthusiastic.
Into other things?
Yeah, like okay, that would be like let's say we watch movies, all right, and we like to watch dumb movies like Marvel.
Soul Plane.
Yeah, Soul Plane. Well, I was thinking more like I was thinking more on the lines of like, hey, let's go watch Ninja Turtles or something like that, just something
Right.
dumb, and you have like this. Oh, you shouldn't be watching that. It's nothing but explosions. You should watch Citizen Kane.
Oh.
You should exercise your mind. you see what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like,
It's awful.
it's like
Ugh.
you don't need to be a snob about things that you want to do to entertain yourself. If something entertains you, then so be it. It's like, okay, I know somebody who doesn't play console or PC, but will play what's that game by the Candy Crush people, the new one, the Witch Bubble thing.
You asking the wrong person.
Okay, well, like it's pretty much Bubble Bobble,
No.
But by the Candy Crush people, and it's like,
Good game though.
it's like, okay, that's totally fine. You want to play that game? That's fine. If you're having fun with that, fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, no, you should play Spec Ops: The Line, because that game will make you see things in a new light. That's you don't need to be a PC elitist,
Kevin.
Kevin. Hope you're listening to this. You gotta play BioShock. Kevin. You want to move on?
Yeah.
Nothing else to say about Miyamoto being a PC elitist?
I didn't think he was being a PC elitist.
All right. Another thing. Next news article we got.
The Nintendo Hour.
So, sir, welcome to GameStop. Would you like to buy a new 3DS, or the new 3DS, or used new 3DS, or used new 3DS?
You mean new 3DS?
Used new 3DS.
How was it used and new at the same time?
It's the new 3DS. The new version of the new 3DS. So it's a used
awful.
new 3DS.
Awful.
Awful. What was it? I think it was 2006. I said this back then. That the title New Super Mario Brothers was stupid.
It still holds up today, though. It's still stupid.
Yeah, I was like, in the future, this game will not be new. It is new right now, but in the future it will not be new. And right now it is. It's been 8 years. I wouldn't call an 8-year-old game new, but it is called New Super Mario Bros. So, like, someone at Nintendo needs to get fired, because this person at Nintendo is coming up with the worst names for their products. New Super Mario Brothers. The Wii was a pretty dumb game. I mean, like, the Nintendo Revolution was a pretty good name. I like that. What do you think?
Yeah.
I thought it made sense, Nintendo Revolution, because they're doing something different. But then they went with the Wii. That was a dumb name.
Wii.
Wii U was even dumber.
Yes, it was.
Should
have been 2.
Yeah.
TUU.
Sure. Shaq Fu 2 with a TU. But going back to Nintendo, new Nintendo 3DS, like that is a terrible name. What makes them think this is a good idea? Like, that's one, the name itself. Two, we know the details.
Right.
I'm pretty sure everyone listening to this podcast already knows the details on like what are the upgrades. I think what do you want to call that? The circle pad on the right looks hideous. It's as small as the buttons.
It looks like one of those old nubs on
The PSP?
laptops. The old mice nubs that you use.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Slightly bigger.
Well,
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it is still tiny. Like, what makes them think it's a good idea to make it that small? Like, it looks like an afterthought.
Yeah.
Like, they were deep in production on this, and they're thinking, we should probably add that second, circle pad on here so that they don't need that extension anymore. Okay, where are we gonna fit it? Let's just squeeze it right here. Rather than like shifting, the buttons around and making room on there, they decided to squeeze it in.
That'd take too much work.
Yep, apparently. That's two. Three, as far as like having those extra buttons and the upgraded hardware and having games that play exclusively on this. So far they only have one, and that is going to be Xenoblade Chronicles, which is a Wii game. I think that is a terrible idea for them to try to segregate their install base. They have 40 million 3DS users. 40 million. They are doing perfectly fine with the 3DS. And the fact that they're trying to segregate their users, third party will stay away from this. They're not going to want to touch this. Third party will be like, okay, we can either make a game for their platform that has 40 million users, or make a game for this that has not 40 million users.
Right. I understand why they would, update it and all that, but make it so where games are only going to be able to be played on that instead of the old. I'm going to call it the old 3DS because this is the new 3DS.
Okay.
So instead of
let's call the old one the Xbox One.
But I mean, some of them make sense, like the built-in near field whatever for their little figurines or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's
the amiibos.
Yeah, I mean that stuff. It makes sense. Does it suck for old 3DS users? The old install base? Yeah.
It's like one person I saw online compare this to DLC, but in the form of hardware. Like they are being forced to upgrade hardware-wise, but like I don't think that is the same. It's not a fair comparison because of the fact that I don't think there's going to be many games that will be coming out for this. It's going to be like the DSi. The DSi had like 5 games that came out exclusively for it.
Right.
And they're all like downloadable games that no one has heard of.
I don't see this as being... It's not going to catch on because all this is going to do, really, is make a lot of people mad. They
also announced a... here, the Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man.
Oh, I'm out.
Oh. They announced a bundle, a 3DS bundle with the Smash Brothers 3DS game. That's going to be coming out, so when is it, October or something? So the bundle will be bundled with the Smash Brothers game. And, it seems like, why would you want to get that?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you announce this new bundle when you have this new hardware that's going to eventually come out next year? It says that this new 3DS is coming out in Japan this year. No statement on when it's going to come out over here in North America, but we can only assume it'll come out next year, right?
Right.
I also find it funny that let me scroll down a little bit.
All the different ones.
Yeah, you have all these face plates that are interchangeable, but you only get those face plates are only interchangeable on the small one. You get I guess they're calling the LL, not the XL.
Yeah, I don't get what the L is for.
Large. The LL version does not have the changeable faceplates. So it seems like such a mess.
Seems like a money grab.
It is a mess.
Because they know that they have like super hardcore Nintendo fans that'll buy anything that they put out.
And
I'm not saying that Sony doesn't have them. I'm not saying
yeah.
that Microsoft doesn't have them, because they do. Everybody has them.
And the thing is, okay, like, if you do not own a 3DS and then you end up getting this, that makes sense. But, like, if you do own a 3DS right now,
what's the point?
One, it's like you're kind of getting, like, screwed over because, you have inferior hardware. But then two, if you end up buying the upgrade, you're part of the problem.
Right.
So you're like stuck in this, this bad situation. And I saw one of my former classmates post on Facebook, the morning that this was announced. He was like, "Well, that's great. I just bought a 3DS last week." And then they announced this. Like, I replied to him, I was like, "Hey, buddy, I need you to buy a PS4. I'm ready for the PS5 to come out." He was like, "Already?" Like, you're never too soon.
I mean, part of me is glad that I ain't got a 3DS yet, because once this comes out, the old ones will be cheap, super cheap, and I'll get one of those because I don't care about any of this mess.
It's disgusting. Like, I mean, okay. If I want to compare this to, like, let's say Sony and how they released multiple PSPs, or now they have 2 PS Vitas. Like, it wasn't the same. Like, when they revised the PSPs, yeah, the PSPs got a little better and they added a few things, but it wasn't like it was a straight up, like, this has a better CPU and this has more buttons. It wasn't like that.
Well, I mean, you could say that this is kind of like the I mean, obviously it's not as big as a change. It's like the DS going to the DS Lite.
No, I don't think that's a fair comparison either. I think the DS going to DS Lite is more comparable to the PSPs.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter which one you had, you could play all the games.
Yeah.
This, it's not like that.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, it's not like that because, well, I mean, like I mentioned, it's segregating the install base.
Yeah, it's splitting audience.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's never a good idea to split your audience. That doesn't make sense. What is wrong with Nintendo?
They're in direct competition with themselves. That makes no sense. Yeah. You don't do that. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No, don't.
It's dumb. Is all that is.
Like, why would why would even Nintendo want to develop games for the new 3DS when the majority of their audience is Xbox One 3DS? the OG 3DS. Does that make sense? Why would anybody want to develop for it?
I don't know.
Like it makes no sense to even want to develop games at all. Like you either want to, like, go full steam ahead and, like, have everybody develop for it, or like not even do it at all. And if they wanted to do an upgrade, like, and like I said, full steam ahead. Like you gotta like cut off everybody else and be like, okay, here is the definitive new hardware. This is
Not a 3DS.
yeah.
This is not a 2DS.
Yeah, this is a new handheld, and we're moving on.
That's the next generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Star Trek.
Exactly, both of those, not Star Trek and Next Generation. So, what's going on with Nintendo? People need to get fired.
Nintendo makes me sad.
They do. And the funny thing is, this happened like a day or two after the Miyamoto quote came out about how they're focusing more on hardcore now. So their approach on focusing more on hardcore involves cutting off their audience. So is this how they're gonna focus on the hardcore? If you're hardcore enough, you will buy our new 3DS, and if you don't, then apparently you're a casual, and we don't want to mess with you anymore. Is that how it is?
Yes.
Is that what Nintendo's saying?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Nintendo. Move on. Okay. We're gonna talk about Grand Theft Auto. Take-Two. Lindsay Lohan. So we talked about her suing. What's it called? Take-Two, because the portrayal of one of the characters, who is the name of Lacey Jonas, who is a blonde Hollywood actress, and she is. You played the game, right?
Yes.
Did you come across the mission with her? It's only one mission, right?
I can't remember.
I read it says only one mission. I don't know because I didn't play the game, but it says there's one mission with her, and you like protect her from the paparazzi. And
that seems somewhat familiar.
She says, "Oh, the hotel that she lives at is like the one that I used to live at, and this is clearly me." So the news that's come out from this past week is Take-Two. They're requesting the judge to fine her because they are saying that she. Let me bring out my notes real quick. They're basically saying that the portrayal of Hollywood figure being chased by paparazzi, of course, is hardly unique to Miss Lohan. She also alleges that Grand Theft Auto 5 features a hotel similar to Hotel Chateau Marmont of West Hollywood, where she once resided. This allegation underscores the thinness of Miss Lohan's claim of GTA 5 is a parody of Los Angeles, so it is unsurprising that it features similar buildings. The complaint is a bad faith filing and abuse of the court system and should be dismissed. So that is why they're saying she should be fined, because she is abusing the legal system. Now, I am no lawyer. Are you?
No, sir, I am not.
So I don't know, like, legal stuff or anything. That's what lawyers are for.
Right.
So I really don't know how fining people even works. I have no clue. But like, if this is a thing that can be happened, it's hopefully it happens because like they mentioned, there's her claim is very thin. There's really she has nothing backing herself up other than the fact that it's a blonde young actress, and she's chased by paparazzi. It's like, okay,
Oh, don't
that's
you know that-
everyone.
No, it's only
No,
Lindsay Lohan.
just her. Just her.
Yes.
Man.
Only her.
Man.
Only person ever. All the time.
She's
Moving
not even.
on.
She's not even real blonde. Isn't she redhead?
I don't know.
Well, she was when she was a kid. I saw the Parent Trap.
Okay.
I saw the Parent Trap. She was redhead.
I did not. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah. All right. Don't have too much else to say about that.
Nope.
Other than, you know what? I'm rooting for Take-Two.
Yep.
You know, just this is silliness. Let's talk about the Kinect. Xbox One Kinect.
You can actually say that and not turn one on here.
Yeah. The last few times I had you on the podcast, it turn on
Yeah.
when I say it. So,
It's
but
bad
anyways,
that he hadn't even had that thing hooked up in like a month.
So, anyways, you know, they as we all know, Microsoft started selling the Kinect-less Xbox Ones, and now they've brought out information on, you know, how you can obtain a Kinect if you bought one of these Xbox Ones. So the release date is October 7th, and they're going to start selling them for $150, and it's going to be bundled with Dance Central Spotlight, which features 10 songs. This sounds insane.
Yep.
Did Microsoft hire someone from Nintendo?
They might have.
I mean,
It seems like a Nintendo. I mean, bad idea.
I mean, I could do math,
Are
and
you sure?
yeah, I can totally do math. And if you subtract $3.99 from $4.99, you definitely don't get 150.
That is correct.
That's not the difference. So why is the Kinect $150 if it's sold, you know, individually? You removing it from the Xbox One brings down the price by only $100. So if it is worth $150, why didn't it bring down the price of the Xbox One by $150? Why isn't, you know, the Xbox One $349 instead of $399?
Because
I mean, like it would give people a reason to buy that over the PS4.
that ain't gonna happen.
But I mean, doesn't that make sense a little?
Yeah, it makes.
Yeah, like
it makes sense to me and you, but
not Nintendo. I mean
you
Microsoft.
mean Microsoft.
See what I did there?
I mean, this might just be their way of getting people to buy the bundle. I don't know. That makes no sense.
It
to
doesn't
me.
make sense. I mean, like if they wanted to, you know, sell this for $150 and say, hey, it comes with Dance Central Spotlight, why not also include like the season pass? You know, because you know Dance Central is going to have that.
Right.
You know, include the season pass so that it actually makes sense as to why it's $150.
I don't know.
I think this is a bad deal. If it's like if you want a Kinect, like at this point, you might as well try to buy one of the ones that are that's bundled, you know, right now before, you know, stock runs out.
I mean, or you could probably go to a secondhand store now.
Get a five-finger discount.
I wouldn't say 5-finger discount.
4 fingers.
But you
Four-
could
four and a
probably
half.
get one for $80. Would be my guess is what they sell them for.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not now that they know that they're coming out at $150.
Yeah.
They probably bumped up their price to about $120.
Yeah, because wasn't it? I think GameStop said, "Hey, we'll buy these from you for $30 or something like that."
Ooh.
or something.
That's a ripoff. Welcome to GameStop.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ugh.
Let's move on. We got one last thingamajig on here. One last news article. That's Saints Row, Gat Out of Hell. See what they did there?
I see what
It's
they
a
did
play
there.
on words. Hey, you mind stopping the video so you're not like using up the internet? There we go. Thank you. So Saints Row, or Volition, has announced the new standalone expansion to Saints Row 4, which Saints Row 4 felt like a standalone expansion of Saints Row 3.
Yep.
So Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, you're going to be playing as Gat or Kinsey. It's good. Instead of having you play as the boss or the player or president of the United States, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to call that character, which I mean Saints Row has always been, you get to play as this custom character. And now it's like they're taking out the custom character because that custom character has gone to hell, and Gat goes into hell with Kinsey to go save, the player. So you're playing as either of those two. So the customization has been narrowed down to, do you want to play as a guy or a girl? And it makes me feel like the reason why they did that is to take out all that customization, to take out all those lines of dialogue, to pretty much churn out a quicker product.
Right.
I was watching some gameplay video, and it's a new island, and it's like a new city with like 5 islands rather than
Right.
however many islands the previous games had, and the city is designed more for flying, because you get wings, I guess, like right off the bat instead of having super jump. So now you have wings and you're flying around the place, and I don't know. I mean, like I really like Saints Row 3, and Saints Row 4 was like it felt like an expansion. It did not feel like its own game.
I agree.
And this is a standalone expansion to that, so it's like an expansion of an expansion. And not only that, but they are also going to be releasing. Okay, this is coming out on January 27th of next year, and it's coming out on current gen and last gen. And they're also going to be re-releasing Saints Row 4. It's going to be called Saints Row 4 Re-Elected Edition for PS4 and Xbox One, and it will include Gat Out of Hell. So, your thoughts? Big Saints Row fan.
It makes me disappointed, because this is saying that it's half the size of Saints Row 4's Stillport.
Yeah, I mean, like I was watching the gameplay, and the city looked really small. Like he was flying from one side to the other, and like nothing.
And 4 was disappointing in itself, and then the season pass was just garbage.
Yeah, like there was only 2 DLC for the season pass.
And they took like 30 minutes apiece. I mean, it just.
I'm kind of surprised that you play as Kinsey and not what's her name, Shaundi?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd think it would be Shaundi and Gat.
Right.
But for some reason they put Kinsey in instead.
Maybe people liked her more because she was crazy.
Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I find this disappointing.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It's.
They need to give Saints Row a break.
Yeah, that's one thing. I thought they were finished with Saints Row with the last one,
Yeah.
but another thing is like it seems like these are coming out quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
Um, they took their time with the previous games, and there was like pretty big gap between 2 and 3,
Yeah.
and then 4 came out pretty quick, and then this is coming out even quicker. Which is, I mean, like for you, Saints Row was like your favorite game, or like one of your favorite games.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. This is extremely disappointing because I love those games.
it's like chill for a second, slow
Yeah.
down,
I want to
make
see
something
what
else.
Volition would be able to make outside of Saints Row. And I know, there's always Red Faction. Well, they can't do Red Faction.
Yeah, they don't have that license anymore.
Right. So I want to see something other than Saints Row.
Yeah, and also they're supposed to be expanding their studio with like 100 more
Yeah, I've seen
employees.
that.
So it's like, first of all, I have not seen any new job openings on their website. It's like, because I'm looking for a job, and
No, are you?
yeah, oh yeah, I'm looking for a job.
No, I didn't know
Did
that.
you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
You don't know that. So and they're close to where we're located.
Yeah, they're
Champaign,
like,
Illinois is like 2 hours from here.
yeah, if
So
that.
so it's like, I mean, like I'm totally interested in getting hired. As long as it's like, I'm not really too interested in work on a Saints Row game.
Right.
But
I'm not
Yeah.
too interested in playing a Saints Row game right now.
me neither. I think I don't think this is going to sell well, because like looking at comments online, people are very upset with this. Like what are people saying about this? I'm not gonna scroll down because I'm afraid it might show something
Right.
crazy. But like I saw on YouTube people like, when are they gonna stop making this crap? Things like that.
Well, some people they like the old Saints Rows, like
Mhm.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
over the new style, 3 and 4, and obviously this.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they could be one of this making this crap, or they could be, Grand Theft Auto fans that still see Saints Row and Grand Theft Auto as competitors
Mhm.
when they're not.
Yeah.
That's not even on the face of everything. Yeah, they might look a lot similar,
Mhm.
but they're not. Saints Row is over the top. It's completely nuts,
Yeah.
and Grand Theft Auto isn't.
Yeah. I think this will definitely not sell as well, and once the numbers come in and they see that, they'll probably lay off of Saints Row for a while.
Right.
They'll realize, yeah, we should give this a break.
I just don't want them to kill the franchise. I'm not talking about Shane Douglas.
No, none of my listeners got that joke,
How do you know?
because
One of them might have.
okay, if you got that joke, write into podcastoutofcontinues.com and tell me that you understood that joke, and explain it to me too. Explain it to me, and then next week, if I get a single email, I'll be like, yes, Adam made a joke that made one person laugh, or at least that one person understood.
Better than you making jokes that only you laugh at.
Hey, this show is by me, for me.
What about the listeners?
They're just in it for the ride.
Ah.
They're like the passenger seat. So, anyways, let's turn off screen sharing. Boop. We're back. Video. All right. So that is it for news. Oh, why is Chrome so slow on this laptop? I need a new laptop. This is amazing. So, anyways, that's all we got for news. Like I mentioned, we had a lot of news topics, so that's why we had no main topic this week. If you want, a specific news topic to be mentioned, or if you want, a main topic to be talked about, something specific, write into podcast@attacontinues.com. Send your questions, send your feedback at podcast@attacontinues.com, and we will address your feedback. So, we're going to wrap things up before we get into Walking Dead Season 2 spoilers. So if you do not want to listen to Walking Dead Season 2 spoilers, don't worry, because we're not going to start talking about it until after I beast out. Some shout-outs real quick. As usual, a shout-out to Nathan Becker, also known as Ectogemia. That is ECTOGEMIA. Facebook.com/Ectogemia. SoundCloud.com/Ectogemia. He did the intro song for the MP3 of this podcast, not the YouTube version, but the MP3 that is found at attacontinues.com. He did the intro and also the outro music. It is a song that he did for my game, Beware the Bully. So it's part of the soundtrack. Going to be used for the outro song. And I'll also want to give a shout out to I did not update this section.
Nope.
No. In fact, I don't even think I put your name. Your name is right there. Okay. So, anyways, if you enjoy what you've been hearing, support us by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review, or you can contact by email, which is podcast@attacontinues.com. All those can be found on the website, www.attacontinues.com. I even updated the links on the website. I said that last time, but this time I did update them again. I now have a link to my website, staffordhusting.com. I also have a link to Beware the Bully if you want to check that out, because I talk about that a lot, and you might not have played it, and you might be thinking, what is Beware the Bully? You want to know what it is? Go to attacontinues.com. You'll find a link on the side, and you can click it, and it will take you right there. Let you play the game. Experience it. Have fun with it. Beware the bully. Or you can give me a tweet. I am at Saydstafa. That's at SAYEDSTAFA. I would like to give a thank you to my guest host for joining me today, Adam.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
With that said, I'm your host, Stafa. Peace out, everybody. Beast out. And we will be talking about Walking Dead Season 2. Yeah. Alright. Let's talk about Walking Dead Season 2 now.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Walking Dead. So, played through Walking Dead Season 2, the finale.
Yep.
As it came out this past week. It was Walking Dead.
It was definitely Walking Dead.
It was Walking Dead. It was like they threw us a curveball this season, because it's like, okay, the first episode, all right, it's kind of setting things up. You meet this family and they're treating you like scum because you're in a world of distrust.
You're an outsider.
Yeah, you're an outsider, and this world now is full of distrust. You can't even trust a hungry dog. Can't even trust.
Stupid dog.
You want to be nice to the dog, and you can't, because there's no trust. So then episode 2 comes along, and you're introduced to Carver. Is it
Yeah.
Carver or Carter?
Carver.
Carver. And you're like, okay, he is the bad guy. He is.
He's definitely a bad guy.
He is the bad guy. And then
He was.
episode 3,
He was the bad guy.
episode 3, it's like, okay, so who's the bad guy now? Episode 4, it was like, it's time for survival. You know, you're trying to survive with a group of people with depression. You know, they're scared, they don't know what to do. You know, you go from a, you know, somewhat of a safe place, but like ruled by an evil guy, to back to the wilderness, which they don't want to be. You know, they never wanted to be in the wilderness to begin with. They were taken from one safe place to this evil place.
Right.
And now it's like conclusion. So, right in the beginning. Okay, like before we get to that, the very end of episode 4. Did you shoot Rebecca or did you yell for help when
I shot her.
When she was turning?
Shot her.
Yeah.
Shot her in the face.
Yep. What was your reasoning for shooting her?
She was about to eat the baby.
Okay. So it wasn't like, this is my chance to finally kill her?
No.
Okay,
It was just
okay.
She's about to eat the baby.
Yeah, like, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, if I don't do something now, this baby will die because these other goofballs are going to be too slow to help.
Right.
You know? So I was like, I had to take matters into my own hands and do it. And then, like, once I made that shot, you know, pow, 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 pow,
Yeah,
pow,
everything
pow.
just started going.
Yeah, it's like, was that the right choice? Was that the right choice? And apparently they you know, they do that no matter what, because if you yell for help, then Kenny does the shooting, and they still, you know, go nuts.
Right.
So, you know, we start right there, and you know, everyone is like behind cover all of a sudden in the beginning of this one,
Except for the baby.
except for the baby. Yeah. So, what did you do when you started off? Did you go for the baby?
Yes,
or?
I did. I went for the baby.
Same here. Like, I think it told me like half the people did not go for the baby.
Those people are jerks.
It's like, what? Why would you not? Like, I didn't even see another option.
Right.
Like, well, maybe because I immediately hovered over to the baby, but like, it's like, what other options do you have?
I think the other option was like go behind cover or something like that.
Come on now.
Because I seen it, but I was like, nope, baby,
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 baby.
baby.
You know, like the way how I play, I try to save. I know it's like, I know the effort is gonna be
You know, it's
waste.
pointless.
It's pointless, but like, I try to save people if I can.
You try to play it like what you think that you would do in that situation.
Yeah. Like, the whole point of having a group is so that everyone helps each other out. You know, you gotta play your role. That is the point of having a group in this kind of
Don't you
situation.
Know your role.
No, not know my role. But, you know, you gotta play your role, be part of the group, and help each other out. And if I'm not helping anyone in the group, then what's the point of the group? You know, I'm not carrying my weight.
Right.
You know, I'm having people carry my weight instead, and that is, you know, yeah, she's a kid, and Clementine's a child, but like, you know, in this new world of,
She's seen some stuff.
yeah, she's seen some stuff, and not only that, but, you know, she was forced into growing up quicker. You know, you had to mature. No time for fun and shenanigans. Kind of like Carl from the comics. The comics, he grew up a lot faster than on the show.
Right.
The show, it's like, stay in the house, Carl. Nope. Time to cause some shenanigans. So,
Shenaniganry.
yeah, shenaniganry. So, what happened after that? Okay, yeah. Jane comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And sticks the knife in the back of the dude's neck.
yeah,
And done.
done. And Arvo, okay, so Kenny wants to like demolish him. What did you do?
I stopped him from demolishing him.
Yeah, me too. Because it's like, okay, Arvo, he like the way how the reason why I stopped Kenny is like I felt like he was a victim himself.
Right.
He obviously was not the ringleader of this group. He was a puppet, a pawn of this group.
Right.
I'm assuming Russians.
Yeah, they were speaking Russian.
Yeah, and so these other guys in this group forced him into like, oh, somebody stole your gun. Okay, we're gonna get these people back. You
Right.
know, you show us where these people are. You know that's what I think. You know how I felt about Arvo. So it's like he was not the one who. Yeah, I was like, yeah, he could have prevented the situation from escalating. He could have been like, oh, look, because me, you know, I did not steal from him. Did you take the medicine?
Yes.
Okay, so what was your thought process?
For taking the medicine?
No, as far as like not pummeling on Arvo.
Because he basically was slowly turning into Carver. Just beating the crap out of people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't really pick that up until later when they started saying that like, hey, he's turning to Carver.
Oh, as soon as his mood swings kicked in, I'm like, this dude's like straight up going to Carver.
Mm-hmm. Like me, it was basically like, okay, yeah, Jane stole his gun because like I did not steal his medicine, but like Jane still took his gun,
Mm.
and I was like, okay, he probably was just forced into this situation. So, you know, once we start walking, you know, Kenny still, you know, is pushing on him and yelling at him and everything, and I'm like, chill, dude.
Right.
Because I was for the most part throughout the entire season I was backing Kenny,
Yeah. Same here.
and you know so I was like, okay, Kenny's my homie, but like he's gotta chill. He's
Yeah.
going too far at this point. What happened after that? After they start walking, did something happen before they got to the lake? Okay, before they got to the lake, they basically stopped because Luke,
Yeah, his leg.
his leg, and then you got to clean up Kenny.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Didn't look too bad.
No, not bad at all.
I mean, like, I was pretty much telling him, you know, hey, you got no choice. I got to clean up your eye, and you know, you got to chill.
Oh, I told him it was gonna hurt.
Yes.
Dude, it gonna hurt like hell.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be like hell.
He's like, you couldn't even lie a little. And nope.
And I like that scene. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of highlighted what I like between the Kenny and Clementine relationship.
Yeah, it showed the Kenny that, I mean, you've grown to know from season 1.
Yeah.
You know.
And then after that, that's when they get to the lake, right?
Right.
So the walkers start following you over the lake, and you know that's when Arvo. Did you think he was just scared of the walkers, or he wanted to escape? What do you think?
I thought he wanted to escape.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but I'm thinking, where is he going to escape to? Dude has like a brace on his leg, and
Right.
you know he's literally running on thin ice. Where is he
Yeah.
going to go? So it was kind of weird that he tried to escape, and then Luke, you know, he ends up falling into the ice breaks under him, and you have the two different people instructing you. You have either Luke telling you, hey, just give
Cover
some
me.
cover, yeah, some cover, or Bonnie over there yelling at you to,
Get him.
yeah. What do you do?
I went back to get him.
How'd that go?
We both fell through the ice.
Hmm.
And then a walker grabbed onto my leg, and then Luke pulled him off, and then they sunk down into the abyss.
Huh. So, what was Bonnie's reaction afterwards?
You could see that she was not upset at you, but upset at the whole situation.
See, with me, like, Luke made more sense because, okay, like, all the ice is cracked around him.
Right.
And he's like, hey, cover me. I'm going to be fine. Just make sure the zombies don't get to me. Or the walkers don't get to me. And, so
Same thing.
I decided to do that. And I'm popping heads. And Bonnie is doing it for a little bit, but then she decides to be dumb. She's like, oh, I'm coming for you. And she goes over there, and they both fall. And I'm like, my initial reaction was like, oh crap, they're both dead now. And Clementine just standing there scared for a little bit, but then she sees Luke beneath the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So I shoot the ice. Nothing just makes a bullet hole.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start pounding on it with the gun,
Mm-hmm.
like hammering it away. She eventually opens up a hole where Luke is at, and tries to get him out, but then Clementine falls in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the time she gains consciousness, Clementine gains consciousness, she sees that Luke is already dead. He's just floating there dead.
Mm.
And then who pulled her out? Jane, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
who pulled me out.
Yeah, Jane pulls her out. So later on, Bonnie is complaining to Clementine about how she's like, oh, I wish I was a pretty little girl and no one would be expecting me to do anything and da 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 da. It's like, shut up. You're the dummy who went over there and broke the ice.
Right.
He was doing just fine until she went over there to try to help him, and then they both fell in the water. It's like, don't be turning around blaming stuff on me.
Right.
You're the one who
Broke the ice.
yeah, broke the ice. Oh, I completely skipped the scene. Before that, that's when they started camping at the
at the power station.
yeah, the
That's
power
right,
station.
That's
I
right.
completely forgot about that one. I like that scene, like pretty much bonding with everybody.
Yeah, except for Arvo.
Except for Arvo, which I felt sorry for him
Yeah,
because he's beat up by Kenny.
he lost his sister.
Yeah, he lost his sister. He is chained up to this frozen pole
Away from the fire.
away from the fire, and it's like, how is he going to sleep there? Because he can't lay down. He is stuck to this frozen pole. So I felt sorry for him. That's another reason why I wanted to continue to back him up.
Right.
And did you talk to Jane?
Yeah.
Did she talk about her getting drunk stories and
Yeah.
glass in her stomach? And I was like,
Yeah.
man, she's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's crazy.
I was like, should you even be drinking? I when I went to Kenny, I didn't offer him a drink. I just talked to him. Did you offer him a drink?
Yes.
Like, I went straight to talk to him, and after that, didn't give me the option to, offer him a drink afterwards because,
Mhm.
when I talked to him, I eventually talked him into going back to the fire.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's probably better off not giving him a drink because this dude don't need.
Any more reason to be aggressive?
Yeah, this guy don't need a drink. I liked I like the dialogue between the adults and Clementine when they're trying to have like adult talk,
Right.
and she's like,
I know what you're talking about.
"Do you kissing and
Kissing and
stuff?"
stuff.
Which yeah, I find that entertaining.
Yeah, that's funny.
But going back,
Yeah, going back.
um, got to the house, after the whole lake thing.
Right.
Um, so they're over there arguing. Well, Kenny beats up Arvo, not Argo.
Whatever.
Arvo. So he beats up Arvo. Were you still backing up?
Yes, I was
Yeah.
back in Arvo.
Yeah, same here. I was like, don't beat him up. In fact, I tried to stop him, and then I got hit by Kenny trying to stop him.
Yeah.
You same with you?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is hard. Like going all by memory.
Yeah.
Um,
You should have pulled it up.
Pull what up?
Walking Dead. So you can look at your choices.
Oh.
I was gonna, but I guess I didn't download it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I don't have it installed on this computer.
Well, I don't have it installed on this one.
So, when Kenny eventually, gets the truck running, they talk about, well, before he gets it running, you're having that little dialogue with Kenny
Right.
about where you're going. How did that dialogue go with you?
I agreed with Kenny to go to try to find Wellington.
Yeah.
So I agreed with Kenny on that one.
Yeah, I did as well because like I said before, Kenny, my homie, been there since the beginning. Always been a firecracker.
Right.
But still, he would get things done. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go to Wellington. But then after he gets the truck running, there's a complete disagreement between him and everyone else.
Right.
So how'd that go with you?
I told everybody to just basically wait until morning and get out of the snow.
Same. Yeah, I pretty much said the same thing because I didn't want to. I mean, they were making good points, so I didn't want to like disagree with Kenny and have him be like, "Oh, you lied to me," because I know that's how he's gonna be.
Right.
That's how he was in the first game.
Kenny.
That's how he was in the first game. Like, "Oh, Lee, you didn't back me up."
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't want to disagree with him, but I was basically like, "Hey, look, let's sleep on it." And then wake up to them trying to jack the truck.
Right. And
Like,
take all of the supplies.
yeah, like I recognized that was Mike. I didn't realize that was Arvo until they both turned around.
Right.
But I realized that was Mike, and I'm like, wait, is there like another group of people here or
Yeah.
something? Yeah, that was my first reaction. Was that
Yeah,
what you thought?
that's what I was thinking. I was like, what, Mike and who?
And then Arvo sticking the gun at me.
Right?
It's like I'm trying to like back this guy up from the beginning. Didn't steal his medicine. Trying to keep Kenny off him, and then he points a gun at me, little old Clementine.
Dude's a chump.
He is point a gun at a little girl,
Chump.
and then shoots her.
Yeah. Well, was Bonnie in that group for you?
Yes.
Okay, Bonnie was in the group for me as well.
Yeah, Bonnie, like backstabbing Bonnie.
No.
Second time trying to screw everyone over.
Right?
Like, it wasn't bad enough the first time. She tried to redeem herself, And then, nope, it's in her nature.
Yep.
It is in her nature to be a backstabbing Bonnie.
Yeah.
But Mike, come on now. Why was Mike? I was disappointed in
Right.
Mike. Like, I mean, he was a vanilla character to begin with.
Yeah.
He didn't have too much of a personality, but like he seemed like a nice guy. It's like, come on now. I mean, like if they wanted to leave the group, is one thing to be like, okay, let's take this, half the supplies and just leave.
Right.
But they're taking all the supplies and the truck. That Kenny worked really hard to
get working.
get working.
Yeah.
And like what I was wondering is, how were they gonna steal the truck? Like, did they have the keys? Why did Kenny let them have the
I
key?
don't know.
Why did didn't understand why Kenny? That's out of his character
Right.
to leave the keys out for everyone else to access.
Right.
And if it wasn't the keys, like are they hot wiring it? If they are smart enough to hot wire it, why weren't they able to help fix the car, fix the truck earlier? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
If they weren't savvy enough to help fix the car, then how are they savvy enough to hot wire it?
I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to fix it because of Kenny. Because Mike and Kenny had that, they disagreed.
Yeah.
They didn't like each other.
But I mean, like,
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
it didn't make any sense to me. So, what was your reaction when Mike starts coming up to Clementine?
I threatened him. Told him I'd shoot him. Didn't shoot him.
Hmm. I yelled for Jane and Kenny.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And then that's when you got shot?
Yeah, like immediately got shot by Arvo, the chump.
Yeah, Mike came up and grabbed the gun. I didn't shoot him, like I said. And then, like, after that happened, Arvo shot me. Not only did he shoot a little girl, he shot a little girl
An
that was
unarmed
unarmed.
little girl. Man, Arvo.
He's a chump. I hope Walker's tore his head off.
Like I was
Chump.
after I played episode 4. Like I was watching a video on IGN where they had a couple of the writers come in and talk to them, and they were like, "Oh, we designed Arvo to look like Harry Potter, so that are you gonna steal from Harry Potter or not?"
Yes.
I did not steal from Harry Potter, but Harry Potter is obviously a little girl murderer. That's attempted murder.
Right?
He shot to kill, but he just had a bad aim.
Shot in the chest.
Yeah,
What a
it
chump.
was a shoulder.
Mine, it was like right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean that's close to the shoulder.
It's also close to the chest.
Okay, it's in between.
It's like right on the chest.
So, Arvo,
Anyway.
man, I hope that there's like some like, what's it, the 400 Days DLC? I hope there's like Hunt Arvo DLC. Just go out and just start like it's Arvo season. I'm hunting me some Arvo.
Be very, very quiet.
I mean, like, I like the entire time, I'm like, okay, save Arvo. He's technically our prisoner, and in my religion, like if you take a prisoner, you're supposed to treat them well. You're supposed to feed them. You're supposed to, give them company. You're not supposed to torture them. And that's how I saw. Okay, Arvo is our prisoner, so I'm gonna try to treat him well. Didn't want to kill him, but Arvo, man, he stepped the line. I don't want him as prisoner anymore. I want him dead. Kill that fool. Kill him. Come back.
Yeah,
Or let him come back and kill him twice.
that's even better. Anyway,
So the dream sequence,
I really like that.
me too, and it was kind of it was just, I don't know if refreshing is the right word to use, but it was definitely different that you know you're having a Lee and Clementine conversation, but you're making the
You're
choices for
Clementine.
Clementine instead of for Lee. You're not replying to Clementine's questions. You're asking the questions.
Right.
And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was right after the whole incident on the.
With Arvo shooting you.
No, I'm talking about
Oh.
like on the RV
Yeah.
right after you kicked what's her face off the bus or whatever.
Oh, so she was she kicked off the bus?
Yes.
Okay, so like my choices. Seems like your choices actually do carry over from the first game because I did not kick her off.
I kicked her off.
I did not kick her off. I pretty much tied her up and brought her in, and she was still there. Oh wait. Yeah. I did not kick her off because she eventually stole the RV.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how it went with me. So she was still there, which, I guess that's the choices that carried over from the first game that they were talking about. So I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it's still really cool to see that there's
Right.
continuity. And I don't know about you, but like for me, for a little bit, I was questioning whether this entire thing was a dream or not.
Yeah. When it first happened, I'm like, seriously? I was about to get kind of mad
Like,
if it was just a dream.
like,
I was gonna be like, what was that?
yeah, I was like, okay, are they actually going to do this or not? Because if they are, that's kind of ballsy, but
Yeah.
that's kind of weak sauce. at the
Well, I
same
mean,
time.
but because of the way that they did it, it worked
Mhm.
because it made you and me, and we
Yeah.
can't be the only people that thought that.
Yeah,
It worked.
yeah.
They had us. They knew they had us. And good for them.
Yeah.
'Cause I would have been upset.
Hmm. Yeah,
But-
it was definitely. I definitely questioned. I was like, is this how it's going to end?
I'm really glad I'm not the only one.
So, dream sequence ends. Wake up. Kenny and Jane are driving.
Yeah.
And of course they're arguing.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. They didn't explain how they, got the truck. Because I was assuming, once Clementine got shot, that's it. They got the supplies, they got the truck, they're out.
Right.
They are Gonzo, the big blue nose. Yeah. So I was assuming that. Well, I didn't know what I'm assuming. I didn't know what I was thinking because it's like, I asked what happened and they didn't really explain.
Right.
Like, oh, we gotta go. Okay. And were you siding with anyone when they're arguing, or?
No, I was telling them to stop arguing and watch the road.
Yeah, same here. Because I didn't want to pick sides.
Same here.
Like I said, Kenny's my homie, but I think Jane is, she is an important member to have.
Right.
She is,
Efficient.
yes, she's a survivor, and that's the name of the game, surviving.
I thought the name of the game was The Walking Dead.
No, it's Walking Dead Survival Instinct.
No.
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 So yeah, end up stopping, and he's, Kenny says he's gonna look for Diesel,
Yeah.
Vin Diesel,
No.
Riddick,
No.
Fast and Furious,
No.
Diesel gasoline.
Yes.
All right.
You left out one Diesel, but I'll let it go. We're not talking about Kevin Nash.
No. So, anyways, here's some gunshots,
Mm-hmm.
and then Clementine jumps at the steering wheel and starts driving. After she says she doesn't know how to drive,
Right.
and Jane's like, just press the pedal.
That works.
End up crashing, and Jane is like, she bounces.
Yes, she does.
And at that point, I'm kind of angry at Jane.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously.
Leaving me here.
Yeah. And, like, my first thought after that point was follow her footprints, but I'm like, where are her footprints?
Yeah, you couldn't see them in the snow.
Yeah, there should be footprints. This is shenanigans. There should be fresh prints.
A Bel Air.
Ah, my brain. So that segment at that point was really weird because I wasn't sure if I was going the right direction, like if it was a maze or something, because it went several screens.
Did you shoot any of the zombies, or did you just walk
I
past
just
them?
walked
Okay, me too.
because my thought process was if I shoot any of them, that would create sound and it would attract them towards me. So
My thought process was that, and on top of that, well, what if it's Jane or Kenny from afar?
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. So you finally get to the rest stop with Kenny,
Right.
and when Jane comes in, it's like,
Well,
the baby.
he flips his wig when you first get in there, and he's like, "Where's AJ?"
Yeah, and he's like, you left him with her? Like, well, she took him. You know, what else to do? But yeah, when she gets there, and she says, what was it she says? Something like, just trust me.
Yeah, like don't get between it, or
Yeah,
just let it happen, or something like that.
At that point, I knew.
Yeah.
That she hit him somewhere. I didn't think that she hit him inside a car. I was like, did she just leave him out in the snow? How crazy is she?
Because she came in and said that she came in without the baby, and Kenny seen her without the baby, and he thought the baby was dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it implied that the baby had died somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it be by her hand or the snow.
Well, like she implied to him because she didn't say anything to him, but and she knew that he would go berserk.
Yeah.
Because he has a short fuse that kept getting shorter.
Yeah.
And like when she said, just trust me and don't get between this and all that stuff. I figured the baby was still alive. So the fight goes on. How did you react to it?
I told him to stop a couple times, and then it came to the end where you had to make the choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I chose the right one. Off to Kenny, because he was becoming a monster.
Was it when he was trying to stab her?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I did the same thing. I told them to stop fighting. I even got between them.
Yeah.
And
Kenny.
Yeah.
Slaps you away.
Yeah, and when he had that knife above her and he was pressing down, it gives you the two choices: look away or or shoot Kenny, and I was like, Kenny was my homie, but the dude's fuse was getting too short. It was,
Right.
in fact, the fuse was gone. Like, he was just exploding left and right.
Yeah.
He was either. It seemed like if it wasn't Clementine he was talking to, he was always arguing. He was the reason why like Mike and Bonnie were running off in the first place.
Right.
Because of his unwillingness to discuss anything.
Yeah.
So my thought process was I gotta shoot this guy because he is a cancer. We were homies, but he has transformed into something that's toxic and dangerous.
He became a bigger monster than the walkers.
Which is really interesting. It goes from this game that makes you think that surviving from the walkers is the enemy, and then it makes you think Carver is the enemy, and then you've watched the transformation of Kenny go from a guy who has a short fuse to a guy who's constantly
No fuse.
no fuse. So after that, go back to AJ, or find
Find him in the
AJ,
car.
find him in the car. And what did you do? When Jane came up, right?
Right.
Yeah. What did you do when she came up to you and you had AJ? Alvin Jr.
I think the choices were like, I can't believe he's still alive. There was other ones. I put that one because I didn't even think about.
No, I was like, you hid him, or you lied to Kenny, and it was like, and another option is, so you got him to fight or something like that on purpose. And then she asks, she was like, hey, I just wanted it to be the two of us because we can't do anything with him and he's too dangerous, and do you forgive me? And like at that point, I'm thinking, this girl crazy.
Definitely crazy.
That was really shady of her to do that. But in this world of surviving, you need people. Like thinking back to the very first episode,
Right.
being alone is not where you want to be, especially when you're a little kid.
Right.
I mean, yeah, she's a tough little kid, but she's a little kid.
Right.
Surviving the wild. And so my thought process was, if I don't forgive her, then
You're by yourself.
Yeah, this game. I know this game. This game will definitely make me leave her. So I got to commit to a choice, and the choice is forgive her.
Right.
So what did you do?
I went with her.
You went with her. All right. So then you go back to what do they call it? House?
Yeah, house.
The doctor house?
No, not house.
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 House. How's it going?
Anyway.
I'm a genius.
Sure.
So this new family comes up. This dude wants in.
Right.
And he has his hand behind him. He obviously has a gun. Hand behind him. He says there's something wrong with his kid. He's like, this is my kid. No, that's not your kid.
Why you say that?
'Cause that dude's white and the chick with him is like Hispanic.
Who's to say that the baby mama? That might not be the baby mama.
I think there's some stories going on
Well,
there's something going on with this
more
family.
than likely there is a story going
There is
on
a
because the game really doesn't have gameplay. It's a story.
There's some kind of a story going on. I think there's like Depression Quest.
There's more of a story than that.
Okay. So what you do with this family?
I let them in
Same here.
because I look at it this way. It's going to be tougher to survive just with 2 people.
Yeah. And it's a big place.
Why not
And-
try to build a community?
Yeah. So, did you look into the other endings?
No. I
If you tell that family to not come in, that is the darkest of the endings, because Clementine is like super evil. Because the guy, he still has his hand behind him, and he's like, "Are you sure you wanna do that, little girl? Because we might be dangerous." And Clementine pulls out her gun, and she's like, "What if I'm dangerous?"
Awesome.
I'm like, holy moly, this is dark. And then Jane's like, "Thanks for doing that. We're low on food." And then she's like, "But what if they come back?" And Clementine's like, "We'll be ready." I'm like, holy moly, dude. This is way too dark. I'm glad I did not
Right?
go into that dark path. If you if you let Kenny kill Jane,
Mm-hmm.
You still have the option to kill him,
Right.
because he's sitting there like all he's laying down, beat up. You can pull the gun on him, and his reaction is, just do it, because he knows.
Right.
He knows.
Well, I mean, that even after you shoot him when he's fighting with Jane, he knows you made the right choice.
Yeah.
He says it.
Yeah. And so he says, just do it. If you don't shoot him, he gets, you two both find AJ, and he's like ecstatic that AJ's still alive. And then you have the option to, just like with Jane, you have the option to either leave him,
Right.
say that I don't trust you with AJ, or you can stay with him. So if you leave him, same thing if you leave Jane, you're walking in this it says 9 days later, and she's walking in a field, and with a lot of tall grass, and then she sees a herd of walkers coming by,
Mm-hmm.
coming towards her. So she goes to a walker that's like laying down, that's hardly able to move, chops the head open, gets guts all over her and AJ, and then walks straight into the herd, and it ends. So that's the alone ending. If you choose to go with Kenny, you get to Wellington 9 days later.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, the transition is always
It's
9
always
days.
9 days.
It's always 9 days later. So you get to Wellington, and it's a city that's like fortified. They have like a big wall of like these metal sheets,
Right.
like made out of like pretty much like train cars.
Right.
Just these big metal sheets, walling off the whole thing, and they fire a warning shot at you, tell you to disarm yourself and walk slowly. So Kenny's like, put your arms up, Clementine.
Right.
And they walk up, and Lady greets them at the door. She's like on this like patio
Yeah.
that's on the wall on the fort,
Right.
and she tosses down a duffel bag, and Kenny's like, "What's this?" And she pretty much says, "Sorry, we are over capacity. We are no longer taking anybody in right now. Here is a bag full of supplies and medicine. Good luck." Kenny, of
Oh, boy.
course,
Oh boy.
flips out.
Of course it does.
So, it starts yelling, getting, very heated. and once he realizes that they are definitely not going to let him in, he breaks down and says, "Take the kids." And then, uh, he says, "Talk to somebody in there, please. Just take the kids." And then at that point, you have the choice as Clementine to either stay with Kenny, like refuse to leave him,
Mm-hmm.
or go in. So, at that point, you got two different endings
Right.
where if you refuse to go in, then the lady gives you another duffel bag. She's crying because she notices how emotional it is
Right.
for Clementine that she doesn't want to leave Kenny, and then they walk off together. With AJ. If you decide to go in, then Kenny he gives Clementine AJ. Gives him his hat as well as like, here, take this. When he gets old enough, he needs to keep the sun out of his eyes, so have him wear this to keep the sun out of his eyes, and tell him about his parents and what they did to get him here, and everybody who tried to help him survive and all that stuff. And like that ending was the most emotional ending
Right.
of all of them. Like, it was really selfless of Kenny to,
Non-psychotic.
yeah, like that was pretty much the Kenny that
You actually liked.
that you liked, and he pretty much did a selfless act of like, take care of these kids, forget about me. These kids are what's important. And like, that was kind of like it was kind of like the ending of the first game.
Right.
It was really emotional to like let go,
Yeah.
and for the safety of the kids. So I feel like that was probably like, I don't know, it was kind of like to me that was probably the best ending, but like the one that I chose, I stick by it
Right.
because of like how much of a loose cannon he's become.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, overall, it was definitely an emotional roller coaster. It was Walking Dead.
Yep. It was definitely Walking Dead.
It was definitely Walking Dead. So, speculation on season 3, because they confirmed it. It's confirmed. It's happening.
Good.
I mean, the endings are all over the place.
Right.
You have, Clementine and Jane. You have Clementine and Wellington. You have Clementine and Kenny. And you have just Clementine with AJ.
AJ.
And, Kenny can be dead or alive, up to your choices. Jane can be dead or alive, up to your choices. They can both be dead, up to your choices. So, my speculation, it would take place years later.
Then you play as AJ? Or do you play as a
Older Clementine.
older, probably young adult
Yeah,
Clementine?
that's what I'm thinking. And she's taking care of AJ. Like, kid AJ.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because... And they're probably in a new city at this point.
Right.
Because, like, the fact that you can be in, like, 3 different places, or 4 different places,
Yeah.
Maybe she went to one of those places and moved on later to another place.
Yeah.
And I'm not caught up with the comics yet, but I know in the comics there is a jump in time. Like, years later has passed. At a certain point. So like Carl goes from kid to teenager. And in this jump, I think there's also it's more like Mad Max at this point,
Right.
with like people walking around with like armor and stuff,
Yeah.
or makeshift armor. So that's what I'm thinking. I think there's probably gonna be a jump in time.
Yeah. I would imagine that you're pretty dead on with the jump in time thing.
Yep, Turtles in Time. No?
No.
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 Okay. I mean, overall, I really liked it. Better than season 1, or not as good as season 1? It's hard to compare.
Yeah, it
They're
is.
different. Because
It's the same thing, but completely different.
I mean, like, they're both emotional roller coasters. That's one thing. But like, as far as like what's going on, like season 1 was about like, you got this girl, protect her, save her.
Right.
This is you are this girl. Survive.
Pretty much.
Watch everyone else crumble.
Yeah.
Now in comparison to Wolf Among Us, I don't know. I think like
I think Walking Dead's better just because on the emotional side, because of the roller coaster.
yeah.
I didn't really have that same up and down with Wolf Among Us. Just don't get me wrong, Wolf Among Us was still awesome.
Yeah, it was still really cool. I mean, Wolf Among Us was more of a mystery,
Right.
and like it was like I think the character progression was a lot stronger in Walking Dead season 2
Yeah.
than Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
There's a lot more character building, and I don't know, like it was kind of cool in Wolf Among Us to see all your choices like come together at the end.
Right.
So I don't know. It's like they're both great, but I think if I were to say which is better, I'd say Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Wolf Among Us is still really cool.
Really, really good game.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a hard choice.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's about it
I mean,
on my end.
yeah, it was really cool. I really liked it. Telltale is quality, man.
They, you keep on saying that they're quickly becoming your favorite. I think with this, the ending of this, I think they are by far my favorite indie studio. By far.
Yeah, I mean, they went from making things I don't care about, like Sam and Max, and I played one of the episodes, and I was like, I don't care for this.
Yeah, I didn't care for Sam and Max either.
And then they started doing like Back to the Future and
Jurassic
Park, and it's like sounds interesting, but like no one's saying anything good about, especially Jurassic Park. People hated that one.
Right.
And then they made Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead season 2, and now I'm just really excited for their next games.
When the first Walking Dead came out, I thought that they just, had one hit, and then they'd never be able to keep it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like they're not going to be able to strike lightning twice in the same spot.
And they've done it.
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome.
Quality.
Just absolutely quality.
Yeah. I need a job. I can help you with the gameplay. Trust me. I'm up for hire. Alright, so that's it for our I don't know. Do you want I got a list of like all the characters. I think we pretty much
went through all of them.
Yeah, we talked about all of them pretty much.
Yep.
I mean, Arvo, I want to hunt him down.
Chump.
Exactly. Luke was like, he was pretty much like the leader.
Yeah.
And then once he started physically breaking down, the group wasn't able to keep together because he was no longer able to physically play that role as leader anymore.
Right.
You know, Mike was too vanilla to step up as leader.
Yeah.
And Kenny was too self-destructive. Speaking of Mike, he was just pretty much a vanilla guy. Like, he didn't have much of a personality.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, the only real thing that I remember of him from the past episodes, not this last one, was when you were at the museum and you were getting stuff for what's-her-face.
and he's holding the two water bottles.
No, and you're getting a jacket, and it's the Confederate jacket.
Oh, yeah.
And it's for, what was her name? The mom?
Rachel? Not Rachel.
No. Anyway, AJ's mom.
Yeah.
And she is not of Caucasian descent. And he's like, I don't know if she'd like that.
Yeah. And then she was like, I don't care. It's a coat.
That's like
cold.
really the only thing I remember of that is him making a big deal that it was Confederate colors.
Mhm.
Who cares at that point?
Hey, at this point, it's like you're either living or you're a walker. That's
Right.
what matters.
Bonnie, I think you've already...
Oh, didn't Kenny say something racist this episode? Something about the Russians.
Oh, Rusky.
Rusky.
Yeah.
And they call them commies as well.
Yeah.
Man, Kenny, come on now.
Yeah,
Like,
because he was a little racist with Lee in the first season.
Don't you urban people know how to pick locks? Come on now, Kenny.
Bad Kenny.
Bad Kenny.
Bad.
Bonnie.
Backstabber.
Backstabbing Bonnie. Come on now. Like, right when I thought I could trust her, because I didn't, like, immediately trust her. I was like, you backstabbed us.
Right.
You caused these dudes to die. You know? And she's always like, oh, aren't you glad you have that rainbow coat? It's like, this thing is ugly, and Jane makes a good point that any walker's gonna bite right through it.
Yep.
And she's always like, look at that coat. Hate you, Bonnie, and I'm glad you're gone because now I don't have to wear that dumb coat. Jane, like I said, she turned crazy at the end. Like, you know, talking about how, you know, she had the glass in her stomach, and the way how she did the shady
Thing with AJ.
Yeah, hiding AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, she's a survivor, and you know, you gotta survive. So that's why I had to go with her.
Yeah.
Kenny, self-destructive, man. He broke down.
At the same time, he had been through a lot.
He did. He went through a lot, and that's funny. How is this dude so racist? But like, you know, the women the women that he has relationships with are of minority.
Right.
Come on now. He's like a hypocritical racist.
I liked Kenny until he went crazy.
Yep. It was like old Yeller. He went rabid,
Pretty much.
and you had to put him down. You don't want to do it, but you have to.
Yeah, pretty much.
AJ, you know, like I said, I think
We'll see.
I think he's gonna be like a kid that you'll take care of in the next game,
Yeah.
in the future.
I mean, there's not really much else to say about AJ because it's a baby.
Yep.
So, what are you going to say about a baby? I hate you, baby. There, I said it. I mean,
Some people were like, "Oh, it never gave me the choice to leave AJ." Come on now. Come on. And the writers of the game were like, Clementine's not, and she's not there yet. That's
right.
why they didn't give her that decision, because she's not there yet.
These people are jerks.
Yeah.
Who's gonna leave a baby? Who's gonna leave a baby? You tell me who's gonna leave a baby. So
That person.
I can go smack him.
Go smack him.
Smack him.
Alright, so that's it. Don't really have any more thoughts on Walking Dead Season 2. It was amazing.
Looking forward to season 3 though.
Yeah. Alright. Out.